My name is William Kuo, and I am a composer currently living in Coquitlam, BC. I did my bachelor's in composition at McGill University, and I did my master's degree at the Conservatoire de Musique de Montréal. I have spent the past 8 years living in Montreal, and recently moved back to Vancouver. I think that the sonic environment in my immediate surroundings definitely has an influence, but I think more than that, even the visual aspects and the distorted impressions of places that I've been to, spaces that I've occupied in my memory, also have a very big influence on my music. I think of composition as a representation of my imagined surroundings, and my composition serves to provide a framework of perception for listeners to engage with, or to choose to not engage with. And so yes, surroundings definitely have an influence on me. Composition is a way for me to present my perception of this reality and to share it with others. So even though I compose instrumental music, a lot of times I receive inspiration from electronic music, from improvisation, from other sources, other fields in art. So my project for this composition is based on my recent interest in the relationship between intuition and intention as a composer. So my compositional process now has evolved to rely more on direct experimentation with performers. So there's this constant feedback between this initial stage of experimentation, hands-on experimentation, and a second stage, a consequent stage where I observe the audio or video recordings that I make throughout these improv sessions. And then the third stage, which actually sometimes happens with the first stage, where I make observations of things that I've explored with the musicians. And this is, for me, a way to explore or to find new contexts that I would never have imagined otherwise. So this piece that I'm writing for Quasar will be for 4 saxophones that are sometimes played normally, sometimes with attachments of vinyl tubing of different lengths, and sometimes with PEX tubes. And the difference in material creates a different timbre, and also depending on where you put the tube or where you attach it to, that also makes a huge difference. So I have never written for the saxophone, but what attracted me to this saxophone quartet is that earlier this year I worked with a clarinetist in Vancouver named Liam Hockley, and we explored various ways of preparing the clarinet. I really wanted to transfer my findings to the saxophone quartet. There are some differences between what I explored with the clarinet and the saxophone. The main difference is that It seems like when a vinyl tube is attached between the mouthpiece and the body of the saxophone, some notes are not able to. In both cases, both instruments become microtonal, but for the saxophones, there are certain ranges where the notes don't seem to change, or even if the fingerings are getting lower, the notes aren't actually descending. At times, they actually could be getting higher. So the result is a lot more unpredictable for the saxophones. It's weird because in some parts it feels like it's staying in the same notes. They're also playing with non-musical objects such as water in buckets. They are asked to attach tubes to mouthpieces and to blow to create air pressure in the water at various depths and at various dynamics, speeds. And there is also a component where electronic devices are used. Specifically, a vibration speaker is put on a snare drum, and a sine wave is transmitted through the vibration speaker onto the skin of the snare drum, which responds differently to different frequencies. This residency really allowed me to explore all the ideas that I had on paper that I would not have been able to realize without a 5-day workshop with all 4 members of Quasar and someone helping us out with the technical aspects, the electronics, amplification, so on. This was really one of the most ideal conditions that I've ever been in as a composer, where I really was able to explore everything that I wanted. And also being able to do this in advance means that I can predict with more accuracy some situations that I might run into, and thus find solutions for them. And so I think this kind of condition allows a composer to achieve a certain level of work that is with a lot of insight, and that would not have been possible. And this is an ideal instrumentation for me because it's a family of 4 instruments, and I'm interested in the creative dynamic that is unique to this kind of instrumentation, where each player is able to exchange and expand upon various techniques because there's a shared understanding of each other's instruments.